So my name's Ashley Milne. I work for Utilita. Started here about 18 months ago with the remit really of coming in to implement a new ERP system. The entire business had grown rapidly and finance now needed to kind of transform and change what we were doing. Yeah, COVID-19 hasn't particularly affected Utilita from a kind of operational perspective. With D365 being cloud, everyone could work from home. I think the biggest challenge we had really was not everyone had laptops. If anything, COVID's probably accelerated our paperless finance function. We were pretty much digital anyway. So Utilita chose Dynamics because it kind of sat in the middle of the market, which is kind of exactly where Utilita is really in the energy space. And that kind of felt like a good fit culture with the organisation. It wasn't a mature, big enterprise platform like the SAP and the Oracles out there. We felt they were a bit too unwieldy, and their reputation really of a hammer to crack a walnut still felt like it was true. So as a growing organisation, we needed to make sure the platform was able to scale to that kind of level. It wasn't too small and wasn't so small that we couldn't operate. And Dynamics really felt like it sat in that middle space. It was kind of that dynamic that had that ability to grow. So Utilita chose HSO as our implementation partner for Microsoft Dynamics because we felt they were a good fit as a business culturally and in terms of size. We looked across the market, decided that those larger organisations, in fact some of them couldn't even keep up with the timeline that we wanted to evaluate the products. One of the other key parts of selecting HSO was the fast track programme. As we looked through Dynamics and the other platforms, what we decided was we didn't want to kind of design the whole thing from scratch. This was a whole transformation of finance, so we just wanted to take best practice and evolve processes around the tool as opposed to the tool around the processes. And HSO's fast track programme helped us with that. So HSO have been there really as a collaborative partner throughout. They were on site throughout the implementation, leading the workshops to understand Utilita as a company, the business processes, and really added quite a lot of value in suggesting new ways of doing things and how things could evolve to work with the tool as opposed to us mending the tool to what we were currently doing. So every time we've raised a ticket on the portal with HSO and the support team, we've always had a response, so it's always been timely. Obviously, depending on the ticket, it takes a bit longer sometimes to fix, and when it has taken longer to fix, that engagement to really understand, kind of get on Teams, do a web chat with the individuals to really understand what it is they're doing, what they're clicking, what that process is, has been a great benefit. I think with hindsight, it's very easy to look at the kind of lessons learned that we could have had. And I kind of, the 5 months that it took us to implement it, had we had a bit more time, we possibly would have taken that and invested it up front. One of the things that we did during implementation was we assigned SMEs to specific functions. They very then rightly focused on those functions, but as we kind of then went live, we then had to spend those next 5 months cross-training people in the different processes that they weren't so familiar with. So I guess I've seen a number of kind of IT system implementations, multi-year ones, and I've seen companies roll out a new finance system where they're still continuing to roll it out in some countries, and yet they're upgrading to the latest version of the new. So it was critical for us really that we just got on and did something. We didn't want this to be an 18-month program. We didn't want this to continue rolling on. So we wanted to make sure we took out of the box as vanilla as possible, and kind of evolve our processes so that they fixed to the way the system worked as opposed to how we worked. Chose Dynamics as a platform that could potentially scale with Utilita. We knew that the other options in the estate basically included field service. That's something that we might want to look at in the future. Our stock and warehouse module needs looking at as well. So we're looking at advanced warehousing potentially. and even maybe some of the CRM front end. We currently operate our own bespoke in-house CRM application, and there's still a desire to keep that, because that means that we've got our own intellectual property that's unique value to us as a supplier. But there might be elements within that estate there that we could kind of just cherry pick from and integrate. We don't have to develop ourselves those kind of core features.